Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever found yourself in a situation surrounded by people or caught up in circumstances where you felt something wasn't quite right? It didn't feel aligned with your highest good, but you couldn't bring yourself to walk away? Today, I want to talk about the incredible power that lies in leaving silently. Now, leaving doesn't always have to be loud. It doesn't have to come with dramatic words or public goodbyes. Sometimes the most powerful action we can take is to simply walk away quietly with grace. It's in these moments when you realize that stepping away is not about avoiding conflict, it's about honoring yourself. You see, when you truly understand your worth, you start to see boundaries not as walls, but as expressions of self-respect. And you know what happens when you respect yourself enough to create space where peace can flourish? You start to realize that stepping away from what no longer serves you doesn't make you weak, it makes you strong. It takes strength to not engage in every battle. It takes even more strength to resist the temptation to explain yourself, to justify your decision, or to fight for something that doesn't want to stay in your life. It takes strength to simply walk away and say, "This is no longer my path," because sometimes silence is not empty, silence is full of power. When you choose to leave silently, you gift yourself the space to grow. That space, when filled with the right energy, the right people, and the right opportunities, can transform your life in ways you never imagined. The ending of something quietly and peacefully is not a loss, it's an invitation to a new beginning. And let's talk about silence for a moment. Silence is not weakness, it's one of the most powerful tools we can embrace. It's in that quiet space where we hear our inner voice more clearly, where we align with our true purpose, and where we find our peace. You don't have to explain why you're leaving. Your actions will speak louder than any words could. Your peace, your well-being, your future will speak for you. It's also important to understand that emotional attachments can sometimes keep us bound to people and places that don't serve us. We may feel guilty for letting go, but remember, this releasing doesn't mean you didn't love. It means you love yourself enough to recognize when something is no longer nurturing your spirit. And when you choose to release with love, you are freeing both yourself and the other person. There's a beautiful truth in this: growth requires letting go. And personal growth often means outgrowing people, situations, and even old versions of ourselves. You don't need to announce it to the world. Just quietly step into the next phase of your journey, knowing that you're doing what's best for you. So I encourage you today, when it's time, leave silently. Walk away from what drains you. Let go of what holds you back. Know that doing so will allow you to make space for all that is good, for all that you deserve. You don't need to justify your decisions. You don't need anyone's approval. Trust that by leaving quietly, you are creating room for something far greater than you can imagine. This is your life, and it's time to honor it in the most peaceful, powerful way possible. You are worthy of a life that aligns with your true essence, and sometimes that means stepping away quietly and gracefully, trusting the path ahead. So leave them silently, leave them with love, and embrace the strength of quiet transformation. There is something profoundly powerful about choosing to leave with grace. We often believe that departures must be loud and dramatic, that leaving behind people or situations requires a moment of confrontation or grand explanation. But the real strength, the true power, lies in the quiet exit, the kind where you simply step away without the need to justify or explain yourself. In those moments, you are not leaving out of anger or resentment, you're leaving out of self-respect, out of love for your own peace. A graceful departure isn't about avoiding conflict, it's about recognizing that your time and energy are too precious to waste in spaces where you're not truly thriving. It's about acknowledging that sometimes things no longer serve you in the way they once did. But rather than burning bridges or leaving a trail of hurt behind you, you choose to walk away with dignity, leaving those situations and people in peace. It's an act of honor to yourself and your own journey, and in that quietness, there's a strength that can never be measured in words or actions. When you leave with grace, you acknowledge the power of your own presence and the importance of your own journey. You don't need to shout your worth from the rooftops because you know your value and you understand that your path forward may require a different energy, a different space. You don't need to hold on to what is no longer meant for you. In that peaceful departure, there is an undeniable clarity and a sense of moving towards something greater, something that is more aligned with who you are now. The power of graceful departures is that they allow for healing and new beginnings without dragging the past along with you. By choosing grace over confrontation, you open the door for personal transformation. You free yourself from the need for validation or closure from others. You stop fighting battles that aren't yours to fight in. Instead, create the space for something new, something that serves your highest good. The power of leaving quietly is a testament to your strength and to your understanding that sometimes the most powerful action you can take is simply to walk away. Self-worth is the foundation of everything we do. It's the quiet belief that you are enough, that you deserve peace, respect, and love, not because of what you do, but simply because you exist. When you truly know your worth, you stop allowing others to determine your value. You stop seeking validation from external sources because you understand that it is already inherent in you. It's within you and it's unshakable. Your worth doesn't fluctuate based on anyone's opinion, their actions, or their treatment of you. It is a constant, steady presence rooted deeply in your soul. And when you understand your worth, you realize the importance of boundaries. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are the invisible lines that define where you end and others begin. They are the markers of what you will and will not tolerate. Boundaries are an act of love toward yourself. They are the essential pillars that protect your energy, your peace, and your well-being. When you set boundaries, you are making a declaration that you will not accept anything less than the respect you deserve. You will not compromise your values or your peace just to make others comfortable. Boundaries are not about pushing people away, but about teaching others how to treat you with the same love and respect you give them. And here's the thing, when you set those boundaries, not everyone is going to like it. Not everyone is going to understand. But that's not your problem. Because those who truly love you, those who truly care for you, will honor your boundaries just as you honor theirs. And the more you respect your own needs and limits, the more you show the world that you are someone worth respecting. When you have a strong sense of self-worth, you stop letting fear dictate your decisions. You stop allowing the fear of conflict or disappointment to stop you from protecting your peace. You stop over-explaining yourself, apologizing for things that are non-negotiable, and giving away parts of yourself just to keep others happy. Instead, you stand firm in your truth, knowing that by honoring. There is a quiet strength in choosing non-resistance. We live in a world that often teaches us to fight back, to push against what we don't like, to react to every obstacle, every challenge with force. But what if true power doesn't lie in resistance? What if it's in surrendering to the flow and letting go of the need to control everything around us? There is an immense power in knowing when to stand firm and when to let go, when to simply allow things to unfold without interference. Non-resistance is not about passivity or giving up. It is not about being complacent in the face of adversity or avoiding conflict when it's necessary to stand up for what you believe in. It's about choosing where to place your energy and how to respond to life's challenges. It's about recognizing that resistance often drains us, that fighting against the natural flow of life can leave us exhausted, stuck, and defeated. The strength of non-resistance comes from the wisdom of knowing that we don't need to control everything. There is a freedom in releasing the need to fight every battle, to defend every position, or to prove every point. When we resist, we are often at war with the present moment, with what is. And in that struggle, we lose our peace, we lose our center, and we lose the clarity that allows us to navigate life with grace. But when we choose non-resistance, we open ourselves up to a new kind of power, one that comes from flowing with life rather than against it. This doesn't mean we become passive or passive-aggressive. It means we recognize that sometimes the best way to deal with a situation is to simply step back and allow things to unfold in their own time. We trust the process, trust that things will work out the way they are meant to, and allow ourselves to be in alignment with that flow. In every moment of non-resistance, we conserve our energy for what truly matters. We stop fighting battles that are not ours to fight, and instead, we focus on building the life we desire, one that is grounded in peace, in clarity, and in purpose. By letting go of the urge to control, we begin to see that life is not something we need to conquer, but something we are invited to experience. And in that experience, we find the greatest power of all, the power to choose peace over struggle, acceptance over resistance, and grace over conflict. There is strength in knowing when to let go, when to flow with the current rather than swim against it. There is immense power in trusting that what is meant for you will not pass you by, that sometimes the most empowering thing you can do is step back, breathe, and trust in the unfolding of life itself. There is a profound gift in letting go, though it is often one we resist because we're afraid of losing something that feels familiar or comforting. But letting go isn't about loss, it's about making space for something new, something that aligns more closely with who we are becoming. It's about releasing the weight of what no longer serves us, whether that's a relationship, an old belief, a job, or even a version of ourselves we've outgrown, and trusting that in this release, we open ourselves up to the life we are meant to live. Letting go is not a sign of weakness, but one of incredible strength and wisdom. It is the courage to acknowledge that, while the past was once a part of our journey, it no longer fits with the person we are today. Too often we hold on to things out of fear. Fear of what might happen if we let go, fear of uncertainty, fear of the unknown. But what if the thing we are holding on to is the very thing that is holding us back from stepping into the fullness of who we are meant to be? What if the relationships, the expectations, or the habits that we cling to so tightly are the very ones that prevent us from reaching our highest potential? Letting go isn't about abandoning hope or giving up, it's about choosing to trust that what lies ahead is worth more than what we are leaving behind. It is a surrendering to the flow of life, and understanding that by releasing what no longer serves us, we make room for what is more aligned with our truth, our dreams, and our purpose. And here's the beautiful thing about letting go: when we do it with love and grace, we free ourselves and others. We let go of anger, resentment, and expectations that weigh us down, and in doing so, we allow space for healing. We let go of the old stories we've told ourselves about who we are, the limits we've placed on our potential, and we open the door to a new narrative, a narrative that is filled with possibility, growth, and freedom. Letting go isn't a loss, it's a celebration of the opportunity to create something new, to invite fresh energy into our lives. The act of letting go is an affirmation that we trust ourselves, that we trust life, and that we trust the process of becoming. It's acknowledging that we don't need to hold on to everything tightly to feel secure, because security comes not from control, but from faith in the unfolding of our journey. When we let go of the fear that keeps us stuck, the doubt that limits us, and the attachment that binds us to the past. We open ourselves to the unknown, to the infinite possibilities that are waiting for us, and in that space of openness, we find the greatest gift of all, the gift of our own freedom. Letting go is, in many ways, an act of self-love. It is an acknowledgement that we deserve to experience life fully without the burden of carrying what no longer serves us. So, when the time comes, trust that the gift of letting go is one of the most powerful acts of love you can. There is a profound power in silence, yet so often we misunderstand it. In a world that values constant noise, constant chatter, and constant doing, silence can feel uncomfortable or even unsettling. We think we must fill every moment with sound, with words, with activity. But what if the true strength of silence lies not in its absence, but in its presence? What if, in the quiet spaces, we can hear ourselves more clearly, reconnect with our deepest truths, and discover the clarity that eludes us in the noise? Silence is not emptiness, it is a space for reflection, for recalibration, for true connection with ourselves. In silence, we find the ability to listen not just to others, but to the whispers of our own hearts. It is in silence that we gain insight, that we process the experiences and emotions that we might overlook in the busyness of life. It's in those moments of stillness that we become aware of the things we've been avoiding, the things we need to release, the things we need to embrace. Silence is not passive, it is active, vibrant, and full of potential. It is where transformation happens, not through words or action, but through presence and awareness. Too often, we are taught that to be heard, we must speak loudly to assert our power, we must dominate a conversation, or to make an impact, we must always be doing, but silence offers us another path to power. It allows us to stand firmly in our own space without the need to prove ourselves. In silence, we communicate more deeply than words. Growth, true growth, requires us to release the old. It is a natural part of life's rhythm, the shedding of what no longer serves us, the outgrowing of old habits, thoughts, and even people. But releasing the old is not always easy. There is comfort in the familiar, even if it holds us back. There is a sense of security in what we know, in what we have done for so long, even if it no longer aligns with who we are becoming. But here's the truth: you cannot step into the fullness of your potential while still clinging to the past. To grow, to evolve, to step into the next chapter of your life, you must let go of what no longer fits. It is in the release that we make room for new possibilities, for new opportunities, for new versions of ourselves. Holding on to what is familiar can keep us in a state of stagnation, preventing us from moving forward, from embracing the vast potential of what's yet to come. When we hold tightly to the past, whether it's old wounds, outdated beliefs, or relationships that no longer align with who we are not honoring our growth. We are stifling it. And yet, letting go is not a sign of defeat, it's a sign of strength. It's an act of courage to walk away from what's no longer serving us and trust that there is something greater waiting for us on the other side. Every time you release the old, you make space for something new, whether it's a new belief, a new opportunity, or a new relationship. You free yourself from the limitations of what once was and open yourself up to the infinite possibilities of what can be. In that release, you embrace change, you embrace the unknown, and you embrace the potential for growth that can only come when you let go of what's holding you back. The beauty of releasing the old is that it allows you to step into your next phase with more clarity, more purpose, and more alignment. You start to shed the weight of expectations, of regrets, of fear, and you begin to move through life with a lightness that comes from embracing what is yet to come. Each release is a declaration of trust in yourself, trust in the process, and trust that the universe is guiding you towards something more expansive, more fulfilling, and more in tune with your true essence. Growth is not about holding on, it is about having the wisdom and the grace to let go, knowing that every ending is a necessary part of the journey toward becoming who you were always meant to be. Growth comes from releasing the old. It's in the act of letting go that we make room for something greater. Too often we hold on to the past, convinced that if we keep a tight grip on what we know, our old ways, our old fears, or even our old pain, we can maintain control. But growth cannot occur in a space that is already filled to the brim with what no longer serves us. To truly evolve, we must make the difficult decision to release the things, the habits, and the relationships that have kept us stuck in a cycle of stagnation. Growth comes from releasing the old, and yet it is one of the most challenging things we can do. We often hold on to what is familiar even when it no longer serves us. We carry past mistakes, old beliefs, and outdated versions of ourselves like heavy baggage, afraid that letting go means losing a part of who we are. But the truth is, we cannot step into the fullness of who we are meant to become if we are constantly looking over our shoulder at the past. To move forward, we must be willing to release the things that weigh us down, whether it's an old grudge, a relationship that no longer nurtures us, or a limiting belief that holds us back from reaching our true potential. There's a beautiful transformative power in the act of release. It's not a sign of weakness to let go, it's a sign of strength. Releasing the old is a courageous step toward growth. It's a choice to make space for the new, for what is meant for you, for the next chapter of your journey. When we hold on to the past too tightly, we are holding ourselves back from the opportunities, the people, and the experiences that are waiting for us. Releasing the old is not about forgetting, it's about making room for the lessons, wisdom, and new experiences that will help us grow into the next version of ourselves. Each time we let go of something that no longer serves us, we open ourselves up to possibilities we never could have imagined if we stayed stuck in the past. We create space for the new relationships that will align with our evolving self, for the new dreams that will carry us forward, and for the peace and clarity that come from unburdening ourselves from things that no longer fit our lives. Growth happens when we allow ourselves to move beyond the things that once defined us, to release the weight of old expectations, and to trust that the future holds something far greater than we can see in the present moment. Letting go is also an act of self-love. It's a declaration that you are worthy of more, that you deserve a life that reflects who you are becoming, not who you once were. It's the willingness to step into the unknown, trusting that the path ahead, though uncertain, is far more aligned with your true purpose than the road you've been walking. The beauty of releasing the old is that it's not a loss, it's a gift. It's a gift to yourself, a gift to your future, and a gift to your growth. It's an affirmation that you are not bound by the past, but free to create the life that is waiting for you. So embrace the process of letting go, knowing that with every release, you are making space for the most powerful version of yourself to emerge.